The charade is over!
What is this? You are the heir!
The heir, me? It's time.
Early in the morning, a line of luxury cars pulled up in front of a massive office building. The doors opened, and men and women stepped out wearing sharp suits, ties, and polished shoes. Among the crowd, a young man quietly walked toward the main gate. An old bag hung from his shoulder. His clothes were slightly wrinkled. His name was Aram. No one even glanced at him. To everyone there, he looked like an ordinary employee. But Aram was far from ordinary. He was the true heir and future owner of the company. After completing his studies abroad and finishing an internship at a major firm, he had recently returned home. However, he chose to hide his identity. He believed that if he was going to take responsibility for the company, he first needed to understand what kind of team he truly had. Who was honest, who was a flatterer, and who had allowed pride to erase their humanity. For that reason, he disguised himself as a janitor. Holding a broom in his hand, bending slightly at the waist, he entered the office. As soon as he stepped through the gate, he heard the sharp clicking of fast footsteps. A woman in high heels was approaching him. Her name was Fariha. She was the company's assistant manager, strict, powerful, and famous for dominating her subordinates. The moment she saw Aram, her eyes sharpened. She looked him up and down and said coldly, "Why are you standing here? Clean everything immediately. This isn't a place for you to stand." Aram lowered his head. For a brief moment, a sharp sting touched his chest, but he kept his expression calm. Silently, he picked up the broom and moved to a corner. Enduring this humiliation was not easy, but he knew his purpose was greater. This wasn't a game, it was a test, and passing it was crucial. As she walked away, Fariha mocked him. "And don't be lazy like the old janitor, or you won't last long here." Some nearby employees smirked. Some laughed softly, while others pretended to hide behind their files. None of them could imagine that the man they saw as a simple janitor would soon determine their future. Aram dragged the broom across the floor and silently made a promise. He would observe everything, endure everything, and when the time was right, reveal the truth. The cafeteria was noisy as ever. Employees laughed loudly. Some chatted over coffee mugs. Aram quietly swept in a corner. His eyes were on the floor, but his ears caught every word. Suddenly, a woman laughed loudly and pointed at him. "Look at the new janitor. He looks completely rural, probably his first time in a big office." Another woman added, "He probably doesn't even know how to press the elevator buttons." A third employee said mockingly, "Just make sure he doesn't try to sit with us in the cafeteria tomorrow." Their laughter echoed together, filling the room with arrogance and contempt. Aram did not lift his head. A faint, silent smile rested on his lips. He memorized their faces. These were the moments that revealed true character. He was carving their real selves into his memory. After they left, Aram continued cleaning. A spark of anger burned inside him, but he calmed himself. If he acted on emotion, his entire plan would fail. He had to move forward with patience and wisdom. As evening fell, a luxurious car stopped outside. From a distance, Aram saw Fariha stepping into it while talking on the phone. Arrogance was written all over her face. A security guard opened the door for her. Her voice drifted toward him. "Yes, honey, take me to a 5-star restaurant tonight. I can't go to some cheap cafe." Aram watched quietly, then lowered his gaze. One thought crossed his mind. This arrogance would not last forever. Power and status cannot protect someone forever. One day, the truth always comes out. He walked out into the cool evening air. His body was tired, but his eyes shone with determination. This was the beginning of a long game, where every lie, every arrogance, and every injustice would soon be exposed. The floor was still wet. "Did you clean this?" Fariha's sharp voice rang out again. "The floor is still wet. If someone slips, do you have any common sense?" Aram lowered his head and silently began wiping the floor again. Some employees nearby exchanged glances. Perhaps a flicker of sympathy crossed their minds, but no one dared to speak. Challenging Fariha meant risking their careers. During those days, Aram became acquainted with Hamid, an old janitor who had worked at the company for years. Hamid was simple, soft-spoken, and hard-working. He never argued with anyone. Employees often mocked him, calling him the old janitor or making fun of his clothes, but Hamid never seemed to mind. Aram noticed a different kind of light in him. One day, Aram asked, "Hamid Bhai, you've been here for years. When people insult you like this, doesn't it hurt?" Hamid smiled gently. "Respect comes from Allah. The ones laughing today will forget tomorrow, but if we do our work honestly, our hearts remain at peace." Those words touched Aram deeply. This man may have looked weak, but he was the strongest of them all. At lunch, Hamid often shared his bread. One day he handed half of it to Arham. "Take this, son. I live alone. I manage. You're young. You need strength." Tears formed in Arham's eyes. He thought to himself, if anyone deserves justice first in this company, it is Hamid. He silently vowed to restore the rights of not just Hamid, but every person who had been suppressed for years. But he knew the time had not yet come. He needed to endure more and wait for the right moment. Days passed. Arham carefully observed everything happening in the office. One afternoon, news spread that money had been stolen from the company's cooperative society room. Chaos erupted. Employees gathered, whispering theories. Then Faria entered quickly, holding papers, anger visible on her face. "I know who stole the money," she declared loudly. It was Hamid. Hamid, who had just entered carrying a water gallon, looked shocked. His voice trembled. "Ma'am, I didn't do anything. I only placed the water. I didn't touch the cash box." But Faria didn't listen. She scolded him harshly in front of everyone. "People like you are the reason companies get a bad name. You should be thrown out." No one spoke in Hamid's defense. Everyone knew Faria had strong connections with higher officials. Crossing her meant risking everything. HR was informed immediately and issued Hamid a strict warning. His face turned pale. He walked out silently, head lowered. From a distance, Arham watched. His heart broke. He knew Hamid was innocent. That night, when the office was empty, Arham entered the security room and opened the CCTV footage. It clearly showed Hamid placing the water gallon and leaving without touching the cash box. Relief washed over him, but so did anger. He copied the footage and kept it safe. Change was coming. The next morning, an unusual silence filled the office. A sleek black luxury car stopped at the main gate. A smart young man stepped out, wearing a polished suit and sunglasses. Everyone stared in shock. It was Arham, now in his true form. In the meeting hall, employees gathered one by one. Faria approached him with a wide smile, not recognizing him. She assumed he was a major investor. "Sir, my name is Faria. I'm the assistant manager. Welcome to our company." Arham smiled calmly. "Thank you, Faria, but there's no need to introduce yourself. I already know everything." She looked stunned. The meeting began. Arham played the CCTV footage on the large screen. Everyone watched in silence as the truth unfolded. Hamid had never touched the money. When the video ended, the hall fell in pin-drop silence. Arham spoke firmly. "For the past few days, I've been here, not as an ordinary man, but the future of this company. I wanted to see who is truly honest and who chases power. I saw arrogance. I saw injustice." Faria's face turned pale. She trembled. Arham called Hamid forward. Frightened, he entered the room. Arham walked up to him and said warmly, "Hamid Bhai, from today, you are the logistics coordinator of this company. This is your reward for honesty and dedication. I respect you." Tears streamed down Hamid's face. Arham then addressed everyone. There is no place in this company for those who lack humanity and integrity. Faria was dismissed. Later, Arham met her privately. Life doesn't end here. You still have a chance to change. Arrogance may bring temporary respect, but it eventually takes everything away. He handed her a card. We have a training program. If you want, you can join and start again. Tears filled her eyes. She thanked him and left. From the next day onward, everything changed. Employees worked together with unity and respect. They understood that a person's true identity is not defined by position, wealth, or clothing, but character and humanity. Friends, the story ends here. The lesson is simple. Never judge someone by their status or appearance. You never know what hidden identity or talent they may carry. Who was your favorite character in this story, and why? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion means a lot to us. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.